Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. I'm so glad that you are with me today because I am going to share some information with you about grants that you probably haven't heard anywhere else. But I need one promise, and that is you will share this information with other organizations, especially other Black-led organizations, because we are a community, and I want to make sure that this information is shared with as many people as possible because it is going to move you towards not just writing a bunch of grants, but actually finally winning grants. All right. So I am in Ohio. So let me know where you are coming in from. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Give that city and that state a shout out as you come into the webinar. Let me know where you are coming in from. Hello, Karen from Charlotte. Congratulations, Karen, with Charlotte. Charlotte is just like on this list of what is it, the best cities to live in or to thrive in, or something close to that in the United States. So, congratulations to Charlotte. I've been there many times. Beautiful, beautiful city. Hello, Issa from Hartford, Connecticut. I think, isn't it like the home of the insurance companies, Hartford? And Benjamin is in Beantown. Boston. And Sharice, hello, Sharice, also from North Carolina. Look at North Carolina showing up with Sharice. And Elle Greer's coming in from Charlotte. Wow, welcome, Charlotte. And Yolanda is in Indianapolis, just our neighbors right to the west, right? You're not too far from Ohio. And is it Rayi Mercedes? Did I pronounce that right? Or Rui Mercedes from Texas, 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 and March Runner from Oregon, and Jarmila. Is that right? Jarmila from Midwest City, Oklahoma. Is that right? All right. And we've got Yolanda from Tampa. Ah, Jarmila, that is right. That is right. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you tonight. And again, I want you to be able to share this with other organizations that need to know this information. So, all right. Let me make sure that our little PowerPoint is up here because I'm getting ready to share my screen so that you can see everything that is going on. All right, that is looking good. That is looking good. All right. All right, so now you should be able to see my screen. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. This is my live 7 o'clock session. We were live at noon and we had such a good time. We really did. We had such a good time at noon. And I know we're going to have a good time tonight. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Let me introduce myself. That was a song, right? Officially nicknamed the Grants Queen because I have not only just written grants, but I have won almost $20 million in grants for clients. And I have been a professional grant writer and an instructor for 17 years. You know, these days you have to give your receipts, right? Because there are some craziness going on on Facebook, right? And so for the past 3 years, I have been working in my grant writing academy, which I built, and I now serve over 3,000 students who are nonprofits and small businesses, and they take my digital course. And I have trained over 30,000 organizations in grant writing. I also teach grant writing for some of your smaller organizations, your private nonprofits, and small businesses, but also I teach for your larger organizations as well, such as the Urban League and Goldman Sachs and the National Association of Women Business Owners. And I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. My undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I do absolutely consider it to be my mission and my purpose to help you secure funding. And again, I'm not here to teach you how to just write a bunch of grants. I'm here to place your organization in the best possible position to start winning grants. All right. Now, how did I get in this space? Because I wasn't always a grants expert or a grants instructor. I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, and I was there for about 10 years and then literally was like traveling all over the world. Had this really super great job, and then the bottom fell out, which sometimes happens. I got hurt. And when I got hurt, I literally went from traveling the world to moving everything I own into a storage unit in Cleveland, Ohio, and moving in with my sister because I needed to be seen by the Cleveland Clinic, and literally came home in a wheelchair. And I tell you, it took me 2 years just to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I was able to work, but I couldn't find a job. And that's when I started Lapov Consulting. That is when I started my company. It's been 17 years now. Well, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. Now, let me know who is here with me today because I've been on both sides of the coin. I own a business now. I used to lead a nonprofit. So let me know in the chat, are you a nonprofit or are you a small business? Meaning you could be a sole proprietor or an LLC or a partnership or even an S Corp, or are you both? Because I'm seeing many, 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 especially small businesses starting nonprofits. So maybe you're both. So let me know in the chat, who do I have with me? I want to own a business. Excellent. Nonprofit, LLC, and president of a nonprofit. Excellent. Nonprofit, small business, LLC. All right. So I have both. I have some LLCs and some small businesses and nonprofits. Let me tell you, you're in the right place. All right. Because there are grants for both. We're going to talk about grants for both. All right. Now, let me get back to my little story because all of a sudden I'm the executive director of a nonprofit. I wasn't in that job 2 weeks before the board called me into the office and told me that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary for an entire year. All right. Now, people, I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants, none. And now I'm being asked to write a grant that would save my job, right? Now, we're all family here tonight, right? And people who know me know I keep it real. You know that there are times when people who look like us are called in to do what? To save the program, to save the project, sometimes to save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat. And all of a sudden, I'm being asked to write a grant that would pay for my salary. Was not told to me when I was interviewing, but it was what it was. All right. Oh, I'm seeing lots of yeses. Oh, people, you know what I'm talking about. All right. But you know what? I did it. I did it. I researched, I wrote that grant, I won the grant. It paid for my salary for a year. And it taught me a lot. It taught me one is that you can win grants with no experience. And I'm talking to all of you now. You can, right? I've created a framework that will help you do this. You can write and win grants with no experience. Also, it taught me what you can do with grant money. Now, I said I've been in this industry 17 years now. And I hear from you all the time. I know you're tired of using your own money for this passion that you have, whether it's your nonprofit or your small business, you are tired of using your own money. All right. And you're tired of wearing all 20 hats, right? You can't do it all by yourself. And do you know that grant money can be used to hire staff, to hire help, to pay for supplies so that you're not always going into your own pockets? And why not use money from somebody else? Why not use money from a third-party organization? So when I left that position, grant writing became my most sought after service. So I went from winning $500 grants to $500,000 grants. I went from winning your local grants to your national grants, from 1 year grants to multi-year grants, right? And that's what I hope you to do. Like I want you to have your name on this truckload of money that you see, right? I need for you to claim what is possible because it is possible. That is what I'm here to share with you today. This is real. There are Black organizations winning grant money every day. I know my students are. My students following my framework, they are literally winning 5 and 6 figure grants, not now, right now. So I want you to be encouraged because regardless of what you are seeing on TV, that, oh my gosh, there are no grants. Oh, there are plenty of grants available. You just have to know where to look and how to place yourself in a position to get them. And that's what I want you to understand today. Winning grants is about more than what you write in the application. I got to say that again. Winning the grant is about more than what you write in the application. This is an entire process, and I'm going to show it to you tonight. All right. But be ready because people who know me know I don't do fluff. I don't do fluff. This is a no fluff zone. I'm going to give you information tonight that's going to help you win grant money. All right. But you got to promise you're going to share it with other Black organizations. All right. Now we will talk about why this class is important. I'm going to go through what's going on with grants right now. I will give you some grant basics. I will show you how do you prepare to apply for grants, and then what do you write in the application? And how do you write the application? How do you even attract funders that still want to give you, especially you as a Black-led organization, funding? And then I want to show you how to conduct the grant research. And I'm going to talk a little bit about AI because it's very important now. Then I have a bonus surprise. Then we're going to do a Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, now is not the time to be shy. You have the opportunity to ask a grants expert grant questions. So drop them into either the chat or the Q&A, either one. And let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. I'm here to help you because there have been many obstacles and hurdles put in our way as minority-led organizations. I'm here to try to knock down as many as possible. So you're going to get a copy of this replay. You will have it tonight. I am not charging you for the replay. It will be free to you. You can come back and view it as many times as you want. There's no expiration date on it because this is information I need for you to have, like for real, for real. All right. All right. We ready to go? Make sure you drop those questions into the chat or the Q&A box because at the end, I'm going to be answering them. All right. All right. Let's go. Why are we here? We are here because we as Black organizations or minority-led organizations, we need access to money, right? And it shouldn't always be about loans, right? Are you as tired as I am of hearing about loans? We want grant money because grant funding you don't pay back. And let me say this to all of you. You can do this. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. People, that's what I used to do. Now, grant applications, some of them are 3, 4, 5 pages. I kid you not. I have one client won $84,000 a couple of months ago. She said, Linda, was the easiest application I'd ever written. Some of these applications are 3 and 4 and 5 pages. Why? Because foundations don't have the staff to sit and sort through 500-page documents. But what you must understand is that there is a process to winning. And as I said before, it's about more than what you write. It's an entire process. And that is what I'm going to show you tonight. Now, let's start with what is going on with grants. Now, look, we know that the federal government, they have cut grant funding. They have cut DEI. But guess what? Federal grants do not equal all grants, people. Grants come from thousands of resources, right? including your private foundations, community foundations, family foundations, corporate foundations. And yes, they give to nonprofits and small businesses, right? So I need for you to be encouraged because this money is available and this money is being given out every single day, including to organizations that look like yours. All right. And here's some more good news for you. These corporate and private and community foundations that are giving out funding, they are literally stepping in and increasing the amount of their grants and increasing the number of grants that are being provided and the amount being given because they're trying to fill in the gaps caused by the federal grant cuts. Because guess what? The need didn't disappear just because the federal government said, oh, we're cutting grants. Whatever it is that you're providing, your service, whether it's from your nonprofit or your business, is needed, or else you wouldn't be doing it. That need didn't go away. So that's good news. It's also a reason why it's going to be really important for you to start looking local. Another reason, your state and local governments are still continuing to provide grant money because not all of their money is coming from the federal government. There's a $30 million grant right now in the state of Ohio. There's a $20 million grant in the state of Michigan because all state and local government funding does not generate from the federal government. Oftentimes they're raising their own funds. More reason for you to be encouraged. Do you know that your city government may very well have grant money? Have you met with them? Right? There's so much money beyond what's going on at the federal level. But let's talk about DEI. Let's talk about it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that that means minorities of any ethnicity, women of any ethnicity, veterans, the disabled, right? But here's what's happening. The federal government is putting pressure, right, on companies and also foundations to just cut out anything involved in DEI. But guess what? These communities is where these foundations give to. They're not going to stop giving to these communities because of what's being said in the White House. But at the same time, they don't want to upset the White House, right? But at the end of the day, these communities is where they are providing funding. So they're having to do a tap dance. They're having to tweak that language. And that's exactly what you're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you serve these communities, you will still be able to apply for what was typical DEI funding and still be able to get grant money, even though, quote unquote, DEI funding has been cut. Now, we in the grant industry call it quiet DEI. It's really using coded language. And you know, we know how to shift codes, right? We know how to code switch. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be, instead of using ethnicity or gender, you're going to be talking about what are the outcomes that your program is addressing? What are the barriers that your small business is looking to address? Let me show you how this is done. Let's say you have a program that offers youth development opportunities for Black boys. Look, this is who you serve. You don't stop serving Black boys, right? You tweak the language. Now, instead of saying we offer youth development opportunities for Black boys, you're going to say we provide youth development for what? Historically underserved and underrepresented boys. Look for these buzzwords. We know what it means. Or you serve boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. You're going to tweak that language. You take out the race and you put in the issue, right? The same is for women. Let's say you have a program where maybe you have an LLC, you provide career coaching for women. You may have to tweak the language, and I say may, but be prepared to do so. Because look, there are still some foundations that are openly funding DEI, but many are not. So be prepared to do this. So instead of saying you offer employment and career coaching for women, now you say our program offers workforce development support for those facing what? Systemic barriers to career advancement, or providing career development services tailored to those who experience what? Unique workforce challenges due to what? caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities. We know you're talking about women. This is very important for you to get because this is how you're still going to go after and get grant money for DEI communities, even though DEI has been cut. All right, so give me a yes. Give me a yes in the chat if you get this. This is very important for you to understand. You need to be prepared to just tweak that language a bit so that at the end of the day, you are still able to get this DEI money, even though it's no longer called DEI. All right, got it. I see a lot of yeses. Excellent. Now let's get back to the basics. What do you need to know about grants? You don't pay them back. Also, I see a lot of nonprofits. Make sure you have your 501c3. That's your tax exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. It's taking about 8 weeks to get it if you don't have it, but that's going to be important. Now, everybody look at this slide. This is annual grant funding. This is the amount of grant money being given every year. We just got the 2024 numbers in, $200 billion. This is the money that's being given out every day. This is coming straight from foundations and corporations, corporate foundations, community foundations, and bequest giving. You don't see federal funding anywhere on this slide, do you? No. This is the money you're missing out on if you're not applying for grants. This is the money that's being given out every single day, including to organizations like yours. And I want you to really focus on the 200 billion, but I don't want you to be intimidated. Too often, people are intimidated by these large numbers and think, oh, there's no way I can get any of this money, Linda. What you have to do is focus on what you need, right? Focus on what you need. So right now, I want everybody, because it comes from up here. I want everybody right now to put into the chat. I just need a little bit. Everybody into the chat, write it out. I just need a little bit. You just need a little bit of $200 billion, right? Nobody's trying to be greedy, right? Yolanda, are you trying to get all $200 billion, right? Or Deidre, will you just accept a small slice of this pie? Because this is a huge pie. This is a huge pie. That's right, L. Greer. Claim what you need. She's like, I just need 200,000. Claim what you need. Claim what you need. All right. That's right, Celeste. Just a little bit. I just don't want you to be intimidated when you see these figures in these large numbers because it just comes down to what you need. You're not trying to get it all. All right. But first, I need for you to prepare to apply for grants. Be grant ready. Download some kind of software editing tool onto your computer. I happen to love Grammarly. If you use Grammarly, give yourself some love right now in the chat. I love Grammarly. It is free. Now, there's a paid version. I use the paid version, but the free version is fantastic. What's different is that literally you download it onto your computer, it will self-correct as you write, right? Because it is embedded into your Word program or your Excel program or your Outlook program, right? Your email program. Why am I talking about this? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. And it's easy to do. I am a professional writer, a professional editor, and a professional grant writer. I wouldn't write without Grammarly, right? And I don't want you submitting grant applications where you really have like a fantastic program, but the reviewers can't read it because of the grammar. Right. Jamila is using it, right? Karen is using it. People is free. Download this article because it will help you to become a better writer too. Make sure you're looking in the chat for some really important links, all right, as we move through. How else are you going to be prepared to apply? I get questions all the time. Linda, I haven't written a grant before. How do I get ready? This is how you get ready. Get your documents in order. Do you have your EIN, your employer identification number? Nonprofits, you need the 501c3. Now, small businesses, are you legitimate? Do you have your articles of incorporation? That states whether you are an LLC or a sole proprietor or even an S corp. Nonprofits, you need your list of board members. It is going to be a requirement. All right. All of you should be getting letters of support. You can do this before you even start pursuing grants. Where are they coming from? Look, name drop if you have to. Do you know the mayor? Do you know politicians that can write you letters of support? These letters could come from the mayor, right? Your pastor, your church, community leaders. Now, if you are currently operating, you need a financial statement. That includes your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, all of you, I don't want you to freak out on me, will need a current operating budget. Like, don't don't freak out. All this is a document where you are listing what you think your expenses are going to be for the upcoming year. Because really, at the end of the day, you need to know approximately how much money is going to take for you to operate over the course of a year. It will also help you to determine, excuse me, how much grant money you should be asking for. You can get a template from the internet. Don't worry about it. Just, it's a draft, estimate. All right. But I find over and over and over again, people think that, oh my gosh, I need $1 million to operate. And once they actually do their budget, they realize, oh, I only need $100,000 or $50,000. All right. Now I'm going to get into the application. I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices so that you know how to write every component. Because at the end of the day, you need to tell a story with your grant application. You should be telling a story. Now, let's start with the mission. It is everything, everything, everything. It is more than just what you're doing now or your aims or your goals. Your mission is going to lead you to the organization that wants to give you money because you need to align your mission to the foundation's mission. This is why so many organizations get rejection letters when they apply for grants. They didn't apply for the right grant. They should never even apply for the grant because they're not in alignment with the organization that's providing the money. So if you're maybe laser focused on K through 12 education, make sure the organization that's giving grant money also has a focus on K through 12 education. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101. I see some great questions. Keep asking them. All right. Now, this slide is everything because this is going to separate you from the pack. How you describe your organization and talk about impact, because this is how foundations are giving grant money now. It's based on your impact. What are you doing? How are you helping your population? And this is true whether you are a small business or whether you are a nonprofit, right? So this is how foundations are giving. So for example, you need to track your success. This is about measurable impact over just like feel-good initiatives because no longer are these organizations giving money because somebody said they want to end world poverty. Do you have an after-school program? Don't just say you serve 150 students. What has happened to those students? Did 80% improve their test scores? Did 60% gain confidence because of your after-school program? That's measurable change. Track your success because funders want to see the numbers because the numbers prove that your program is delivering results. And again, it doesn't matter if you are a nonprofit or for-profit. Let's say you have a restaurant. You're a for-profit, right? LLC. You have a restaurant. How many people do you serve? What has been your impact on the community? Have you been able to hire people from the community? That's a community impact, right? Have you been able to increase the number of people that you serve in the restaurant? Right? Your restaurant, has it contributed to the overall economy of that neighborhood? Show your impact. And let's say you haven't even opened. I still want you to talk about impact. Now you're going to project. Let's say you have a tutoring program, right? Tutoring program for high school kids. Project. You can write in the application, I project that when those students complete my tutoring program, they will increase their reading and proficiency scores by 5%, by 10%, by 20%, whatever it is. which will help lead them to being able to graduate on time. So whether you are open or going to open, talk about your impact. This is how foundations are giving money. All right. And don't forget, you can use images, you can use testimonial videos to help showcase your impact. All right. And as you are writing, you have to write as if you are solving a problem or addressing an issue. This is how you have to write grant applications. And this sometimes is a little more difficult for small businesses. So let me give you an example. Let's say you want to open up a jewelry company online. You have an LLC. You know, there are probably a million jewelry companies online, right? So what is making yours different? That's what you have to ask yourself, everybody, all of you. What is making your small business or nonprofit different? So maybe your jewelry company is for people with sensitive skin. That's the problem you're solving, that there aren't very many jewelry companies online with people with sensitive skin. So that's your uniqueness. And yes, by the way, there are foundations that give grants to people who open up jewelry companies, right? This is why you have to know where and how foundations give. Because whatever that issue is that you're trying to solve or the problem is going to lead you to that foundation, especially if they're giving grant money in the same area where you are providing a service or a program or a project. Now, we know 90% of foundations don't have a website, but that's okay because typically when you see an open application, they do. Plus, there are ways to get information about foundations, even if they don't have a website. I have my own secrets after 17 years of finding foundations. Now, excuse me, you have a decision to make. Are you applying for operating grant money or program project grant money? You have to decide. It has to be one or the other when you approach a foundation. Now, we love to get operating grants because when you get an operating grant, you get to decide where to put that money. You can put the money towards your lease, IT, your staff, right? Hiring contractors. Only about 32% of foundations give general operating support grants, but oh, if you can get one, it is going to help you build capacity because you can pay for your administrative cost, right? But we know most grants have to go to a program or a project, which is okay. Let's take that restaurant. Maybe she wants to start a delivery service. That could be a project where she's asking for grant money. But whatever you do, you have to apply to multiple foundations at all times, people. This is not a one and done industry. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So I want you to tell me why in the chat. Why do you think you have to apply to multiple foundations when you are seeking grants? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? That's right, El Gray, multiple chances to win. Yes. Tavares, is that right? It's a hit or miss sometimes, but I don't want it to be a hit or miss. I want you to be strategic when you apply. But you're right, and that grants are not guaranteed. I don't want you to fall for that okey doke, right? Oh my gosh, I've been in this industry 17 years. I hear horror stories. It literally pains me. It really does about people being scammed because somebody said that they could guarantee them some grant money. It's all over Facebook. Apply here, everybody wins. 99.9% of the time, they're scammers. So you're right, Yolanda, more doors of opportunity, Annie, the better your chances get, right? Patrick, more chances. That means you can obtain more than one grant, March, and you need to. You probably heard of the organization that got $1 million grant and they used up the money. And then when the grant money was gone, the organization had to close. I see that far too often. You need to consistently be bringing in revenue, diverse revenue, including grant money. All right. Jarmila, yes, there's more than just one, your company applying for the same grant because Based on your programming, you can apply to multiple grants for the same program because maybe one grant is giving you money to hire staff, maybe the other grant is giving you money to buy supplies, right? So this becomes very important. Now, partnerships are critical. You cannot do this alone. It doesn't work. Foundations do not expect you to work alone. They expect you to collaborate with community partners. This question is going to be on the grant application. All of you should have community partners. And I don't mean partners where you're exchanging like ownership. No, community partners. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could be at your library once a month giving a free tax talk. You're probably going to have a willing audience, and the library is going to promote you because that's what they do. And I think libraries, I really do think they have everybody's email address, right? But what does it have to do with grants? Well, now you have a community partner in a library who can maybe recommend you or refer you to other foundations for funding, but also it increases your level of visibility because they're going to be promoting you. Now you're going to be known as a tax person. So when you go to that foundation to apply for a grant, they may already know you. Oh, you're the person that gives the tax talks, right? Some of you have phenomenal programs, but nobody knows about the program. Nobody even knows about you, not even in your own community. But having community partnership, let them do the work for you. Let them help promote you and your organization. Whether it's working with the Urban League, 100 Black Men of America, the Y, HBCUs. Let me give you one more example to just bring this home because this is so important. Let's say you have an ex-offender program. I met with one of my clients yesterday. She has a phenomenal ex-offender program. The ex-offender program, she has to meet with the inmate just to do interviews, just to make sure they qualify for her program. I want you to tell me who her community partners should be in the chat. Who should she be meeting with in her community? Now, she has to meet with the inmates in jail, make sure they qualify for her program. You tell me in the chat, who should she be meeting with? Who should be her community partners? There you go, Deidre. Absolutely. Job placement services, right? You want people to be employed once they are released from jail so that they don't commit any crime and go back to jail. But they've got to be trained. Deidre, housing, right? Absolutely. You don't want them to be homeless, right? Tavares, the parole center, absolutely. And the halfway houses for sure. Yes, March. Housing agent, continuing education March. Yes. Why? Because maybe they need a GED so that they can get a job, right? And Issa, the workforce is very important. The workforce development agencies, because you want to match them with organizations that are willing to hire ex-offenders, right? And any mental health for sure, because being in jail alone, right, can wreak havoc on the psyche. And maybe they have addictions, right? Maybe they need social service agency. Do you see how easy this was, people? I tell you, we probably came up with 10 or 12 organizations in the community where this woman should be partnering with. This is what you're going to do. This is your homework. I need for you to create 5 organizations in your community that you are going to partner with, whether you're open or not, right? That will align with what you are providing. So name 5. That's your homework. All right. Name 5. All right. Now let's go to the money. This is your grant budget. You need to create a budget so that you are itemizing your expenses. So let's say you need $50,000 for an executive director. You can't just put I need 50 grand for an ED in the grant application. Itemize. Is it a contracted person? How many hours are they going to work for you? What is the pay rate per hour? How many hours a week? How many weeks out of the year? You need supplies. How many supplies do you need? What is the cost? Who's using the supplies? Your explanation of how you're going to use the grant money goes into the budget narrative. The numbers go into the budget. And here's a clue. I always align the grant money that I'm asking for with the mission of the foundation and the mission of the nonprofit or the small business. Align. Let the foundation know that, look, the money that I'm asking for and the grant is going to help support your mission and the mission of the small business or the nonprofit. All right? All right. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Linda, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad, but whew, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to write these grants. I don't have time to write these grants. Well, remember what I said earlier, that a lot of grants now are literally 3 and 4 and 5 pages, right? And let me tell you, AI will give you your time back. It is an amazing tool. So for those of you thinking like, oh gosh, I don't think I have time to write these grants, I have a question for you, and I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get this free money? I don't think anybody does. Let me see in the chat if anybody has time to get free money. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes, yes. I'm saying absolutely. I'm saying indeed. It's looking like you got time to get free money. That's right, Elger. Let's get this free money. This is free money, people. So it's looking like you have time. So if you have time to get free money, I need you to spend just a little bit of time on the process to get the free money. Yes, you're going to have to create some relationships. This is the slide here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it, because this is often the deciding factor as to whether or not you get a grant. Did you meet with the foundation first? They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you grant money. You want to meet with them. You're trying to receive their grant money. And in this meeting, oftentimes, they will give you insight into the grant that's not even on their website. Because people, getting grant money is not a money grab. You can't see this as a money grab. This is about building a relationship with the foundation, because you want this to be long term, so that when you go back next year and the year after and the after that, you have a much better chance of getting another round of grant money and another round of grant money. So how are you going to do this? And let me tell you, I've probably set up 1,000 of these in the last 17 years. I always remember one client, 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000. And I said Zoom. These are Zoom meetings, 30-minute Zoom meetings. Now, if you are in close proximity to your foundation, meet with them in person. If not, these are Zoom meetings, because remember, a lot of these organizations are nationwide. All right? All right. This is what you're going to do. I know you're asking, how do I set up the meeting? You're going to send an email to the foundation. And by the way, you're not sending it to some info at ABC Foundation email. You find the person, you find the email address. You send this letter. It is an email. In the email, you are aligning your mission and your programming to where they're giving funding, right? So you align it in the email so that they know, oh, we may have a match here. Whatever you do, don't ever, 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 ever ask for grant money in the email. You're going to get a rejection letter. It's like almost getting an automatic rejection letter. Don't ask for grant money in the email. You ask for a meeting. And in the meeting, you ask for the money. All right? That's right, Al Greer. Free money o'clock. Now, let's get to the grants. This is where you are going to find grants. Google is fine, but I need for you to use a grant portal that exists to give you information about grants. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source on organizations that provide grants. So let's say you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you have a program where you help veterans, right, to be placed in transitional housing. You plug that information into FDO, and they will give you a list of organizations that provide that kind of funding. Now they're $50 a month to subscribe, or guess what? Free access at your local library. Grants.gov, we know that's the source of federal grants. And yes, there are still federal grants available, some. Lilly Foundation, largest funded religious organizations, and to my churches and my faith-based organizations, yes, there are grants for you. Right now, there are two grants that I know of. One is for Black churches. This is why people, you cannot believe everything you see on TV about there not being any grants or there are no grants for Black organizations. No, no. Yes, yes, yes. That's why I implore you, I beg of you, if you are going to be searching for grants, get into a community where you can get the right information so that you're not wondering, should I be applying for this grant? Because time is money and we're done wasting time, right? Get into a community where you can ask questions, get the help that you need. Because I know of two grants right now. One is literally geared for Black churches. The other is a worship grant. Grantwatch.com, they give you the grant list, the synopsis of the grant, the contact information. They are $20 a week or $200 for the whole year. Grantstation.com, $200 for the whole year. They have grant openings and then some trainings. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org, they're Black owned. Support them. They provide free training. Tell them Linda sent you. Now, if you are a creator, a poet, artist, author, musician, maybe you're in the theater, dancer, right? Model, fashion, grants for creators. I believe they're about $99 a year to subscribe. They have phenomenal grants. The grant portal is the internet's largest grant catalog, $197 for the whole year. If you can afford it, Instrumental is $200 a month. They give you information about grants and they help you with the grant research. So this is how you find your grants. All right. Yes, there's a worship grant right now. Right now. All right. So it doesn't matter what you do because I'm beginning to see people asking me, is there a grant for me? There is a grant for you. As long as you're doing something legal, you need to place yourself in position to find the grant funding. As long as you're doing something legal, there's grant money. Place yourself in a position to find it, whether it's an event space, whether you have a farm, whether you have a trucking company, the grant money is available. You have to find it. Now, let me show you really quickly how you conduct grant research. This is Grant Station. They're $200 for the whole year. Look to my right here where it says areas of interest. For every block you see, there's probably 10 or 15 drop-down blocks. This is how you focus on what you are providing. All of you must have areas of interest. What is yours, right? Maybe it's business and industry, right? Maybe it's health, education, religion. And then you put in your target population. And this is so important because you can't help everybody, people. Who is your target? Is it people that live within a certain vicinity of your location? Is it veterans, homeless, African Americans, K through 12 kids? Input this information, push a button, you will get a list of grants for your organization. And let me talk about location for a moment because so many of you leave money on the table. Start local. It is easier to get local grant money. If you just Google local community foundations, they will come up. And you need to meet with them. Start local. But don't disregard your national grant makers either, right? Because there could be a foundation in Texas and they're funding you and you're in Indiana. And for my global community, yes, this is for you as well. You don't have to have a US-based organization. You could be in Kenya. You could be seeking grants for a program you have in Zimbabwe. Because a lot of these organizations, remember, they're corporations, they're global, and they give globally. All right. But this happens to be Grant Station. Now, I bring up this list to show you that when you are seeking grants, you're not just seeking grants because you're a Black organization, but I'm saying you can, because not all of those grants have disappeared, regardless of what is being told to you. There's a list of Black grants right now in this financial literacy website. Do you have a Black-led nonprofit? Go to support Black charities. Do you have a small business? The Hello Alice oftentimes will give grants that are geared for small businesses, especially those geared towards minorities and women. Operation Hope, John Hope Bryant, he wants to build 1 million Black businesses or support 1 million Black businesses. He's up to 400,000. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month. And for the month of September, their focus is education and childcare. LISC, they fly below the radar screen, but guess what? Since 1979, they've given away $1 billion to communities of color. Shea Moisture, are you want to open up a Black hair care salon? Apply for that grant. The Ford Foundation, are you creating a film about the African experience, the African American experience? They have a grant for you. Let's go to Amarillo, where it says small. They're out of Texas. Yes, as a small organization, you can get grants. I don't want you to think that you're too small, like, oh my gosh, I'm a solopreneur, or I just have my little small nonprofit. Amarillo focuses on giving grant money only to small organizations, right? So you maybe have an all volunteer nonprofit. Maybe you say, Linda, I don't have money to pay people. I don't even pay myself. You can still get grant funding. Maybe you are a startup. Busy.com and skysthelimit.org. They both give startup grants. And Amber Grants for Women, they're one of the few organizations where they will give you startup money based on an idea, which means you will not have to have earned one penny to get their $10,000 grant, an idea. All right? All right. So be encouraged. Now, really quickly, all of you, I want you to put into the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money. Let me know really quickly, banks and money. Amber Grants for Women will give grants based on an idea. Amber Grants for Women. Power, loans, gatekeepers, all of that could be true, but guess what? Guess what I know? I know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money. Grant money. Yes. And it doesn't have to be your bank. I'm in Ohio. The Key Bank Foundation is one of the largest foundations in Ohio. I'm giving you 4 hot leads. They all give grants. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, Truist. Now, Bank of America and Wells Fargo each individually give over $120 million a year in grants. All right. I show this so that you can see grant money comes from multiple sources other than the federal government. Now, AI, if you're using ChatGPT, great, but never use it as a replacement. It is a tool. You have to feed AI information about your organization. So there's no getting around you needing to be able to write about your organization, your mission, your impact statement, your need statement, your mission, your history, your programming, your services, and then you feed that into AI along with prompts so that it can perfect your copy. But nobody knows your organization better than you, so you need to be able to write about your organization. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what ChatGPT is for. So you can use it to literally help you find the right funders, or maybe you need to reframe your DEI, or remember, align your mission to a foundation's mission. You could let AI do that for you. It will absolutely help you write better and more impactful. Take your writing and feed it in, and it will conduct research for you so that you can prove that your organization is needed, right? So if you have that after school program in Indianapolis, you need to be able to show that the reading proficiency levels are pretty low in Indianapolis for kids. AI will do that for you, and it will write the letters of support for you so that all you have to do is give them to the people that you want to sign off on them. All right? So this is my bonus surprise. This is where I'm going to help you if you want to work with me, because I offer a community where you can get questions answered. You can get counsel on grants that you should be pursuing to save yourself time, because people, time is money. Get writing tips, get the latest grants so that you can stay focused and accountable, right? And really stay on the right track. Because my students who follow my framework are getting 5 and 6 figure grants right now, not now, right now, even in this crazy grant environment. Because remember, I said there's a framework, they know what to do. All right. So this is a course, it's a grant writing course. It's online, it's digital. You go at your own pace so that you can learn to do this and learn to win grant money. Because I said at the beginning, this is about more than you just writing a bunch of grants. I'm trying to place you in a position where you actually start winning grant money. So the course will help you how to write every part of your grant application. It will show you how to do the research to find the grants. But I give you the support that you need so that you don't feel lost because so much time is wasted applying for the wrong grants. So I'm going to be your help. I'm going to serve as your grant coach, right? So for example, if you are going to be meeting with a foundation, do you know what to say? Do you know how to prepare? Do you know what you never leave that meeting without knowing? You come into our private Facebook group and you let us know. I'm getting ready to meet with ABC Foundation. What do? I need help. Or maybe you created your budget. You don't know how much money to ask for because not every grant gives you the amount of money you should be asking for. Some foundations will ask you, how much do you need? And you're not going to say, I need $1 million. No. Come into our group, let us know. We can give you that help. The course is 12 modules, 35 lessons. But here's where it's different because for the last 17 years that I've been in this grant industry, I've been hired to write and build grant applications, including creating the grant questions. I've utilized those questions to build this course. So this course is like completing an in-depth grant application, only now you've got support. Now you have help with every question, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to have this beautiful grant template. You're going to use that template to start applying for grant after grant after grant. That's why it makes it easier and faster. And yes, you get real examples of grants that won funding so that you see what winning grants look like. And as a bonus, I give you a list of over 600 funders. And you have the private Facebook group, which by the way is phenomenal. It really is, because it's all about collaboration. There's no competition in this Facebook group. The students are there to help each other. And I'm in there all the time answering questions. All right. And just to make sure you get the help you need, because I don't want you to ever be stuck, I give you an hour of live group coaching. That's not one and done. That's every single month. Make sure you're getting what you need. Now, I want you to look at these numbers because these numbers mean something. I've had my course audited 3 times now, and this is what the course is worth. This is literally like a college level course, but it's easier and you get all the help that you need. But I've had it audited. And so the course is worth $5,000. The lessons are worth $3,549. The videos $599. The funding list is worth $499. You've got planners and workbooks and grant trackers. But this is not what you're going to pay. And I am intentional. This is very important for you to know. I am intentional about what I charge for the course. It is as low as possible. It is literally a fraction of these amounts because I don't want to be that hurdle in your way that's going to keep you from really getting the help that you need. So I keep the course super low. And by the way, I have colleagues that charge $2,000 for their grant writing course, and you get zero access to them. I give you access to me through the Facebook group and the group coaching. That's every single month. So this is the slide that you want to see. As amazing as it is, the course is worth $5,000. My regular price is $997. That's pretty standard. I reduced the course earlier this year to help everybody out because of what's going on with grants. And I know it's been difficult. So the course is $497. But guess what? You came on to this webinar at 7 o'clock. I know you could have been somewhere else. You let me know that you are serious about getting grants and that you need help. So for the next 3 days, I'm allowing you to take $200 off of the $497. So you get everything. You get literally this $5,000 grant writing course that is winning clients 5 and 6 figure grants, which I'll show you in a moment, is $297. I'm trying to provide a price point that is as low as I can possibly take it and get you the help that you need because I know you need help. Again, I've been in this industry for a long time. And what I'm seeing this year, I haven't seen before. So I know you need help, but I'm trying to show you there's a way through this that you can still get grant funding, right? We even have a 2-month payment plan if you would like, that's $175 a month. But the codes are very important for you to use because they're going to take off the discount. So the SCPT11, that is the code to take off the $200 from the $497. If you want the 2-month payment plan, use the code SCPT11 with the little T behind it. That stands for 2 months. And you read right at the bottom, the course never expires. You know, courses usually last 3, 6, 9 months. The course never expires. You get the course, the Facebook group, the coaching, write everything off as tax deductible. Yes, if you are a small business, it is a business or educational expense. If you are a nonprofit, it's an expense. And you even get a certificate of completion. And by the way, I also make it easy for you. I have templates. I have a grant application template. Remember, I talked to you about meeting with the foundation and sending the email. I have a template. We talked about the partnerships, developing partnerships. I have the template that you send to them in the email to try to make this as easy for you as possible to connect with organizations and the foundation. So yes, I even have an MOU template. Many of you should be seeking sponsorships. I even have a sponsorship kit that you can use. This is all people for $297. All right. All right. For those of you who are ready for something a little bit more in depth, I have boot camps. You spend 14 hours with me, 7 hours a day for 2 days. I'm going to teach you 2 months worth of work in 2 days. At the end of the second day, we're going to leave with a completed grant application that you're going to be ready to submit. You're going to leave with a grant template. You're going to leave with a list of local and national grants for your organization. You're going to leave with an implementation plan. I'm going to teach you AI in 2 days. This boot camp includes the course. I have a brand new AI course releasing. It's going to include the AI course. Is $1,997 for the 2 days. Keisha has a childcare agency. She had never written a grant before. She took the boot camp. 6 weeks later, she had her first grant. 2 weeks after that, she had a $100,000 grant because she took the boot camp. All right, that link is in the chat. Now, these people here, they just bought the $300 course. Nicola, June, $250,000. How about that for ROI? That she invests less than $300 in a grant writing course. She is not a professional grant writer, but she learned how to write. And her application was so on point that when the foundation saw it, they said, wait a minute, because she only asked for $50,000. They said, wait a minute, let's count her. Will you take $250,000 to extend this to other locations? And by the way, those of you who think small businesses can't get grants, she's a small business. She has a for-profit senior care agency. Whitney, she has a doula organization. This is why it pays to be in a community. Do you know that most of your utility companies, if they're larger, they have foundations? She went to her utility company. They gave her $40,000. Remember I said go local and national? Then she went national. National Birth Equity gave her $50,000. Kanisha, $100,000. These are people of color winning 5 and 6 figure grants. Kimberly, a couple of months ago, $84,000. She said it was the easiest application she had ever written. I think it was maybe 4 pages. Cherie, $11,000. Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage Company out of Charlotte. Some of you may know. Tranquility, $20,000. Christina has an online educational firm. You don't need a brick and mortar. You don't need to have a physical location. She has an online educational consulting firm, 10,000. Here's the bonus for you, an extra bonus actually. If you've heard of the Black Chambers, the U.S. Black Chambers, so they're the lead organization where you have a lot of the local Black Chamber of Commerce organizations in your city. They're the lead organization. They create a Buy Black list, a list of grants that are geared towards small businesses and nonprofits. I'm going to give you the latest list if you apply and take the program for $297, right? You're getting this list. If you subscribe to the list, it's $195. I'm going to give that to you because I want you to be successful. I want you to start winning grant money, right? And I'm also inviting you to a special training, totally free, next, I believe that's Thursday. It's September 18th. September 18th. I talked to you about meeting with the foundation, how that is absolutely critical. I'm doing a special training on it to teach you how to walk in prepared so that you can walk out with your grant money. I'm going to be laser focused on that foundation meeting. What you need to do, how do you prepare, what do you say? It's totally free. I'm putting the link in the chat. All right. All right. It's Q&A time. I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to get to the Q&A. But first, okay, for those of you who are asking, I'm going to show you how to buy the course. Okay. Let me share my screen really quickly and show you how to buy the course for those of you who are asking. You want to pay the $297, right? Hit the $497. Remember, you have a $200 coupon. Do you know that other folks don't have coupons? You have a huge coupon, right? Click have a coupon, input your coupon code. It's SEPT11. Hit apply. It will take off $200. You're only paying $297. Now, you see this block here. If you want to meet with me privately, we can do a one-on-one. It's a 1-hour strategy session. I get you together in that 1 hour. If you have 10 ideas, you'll leave with one. But before we talk about grants, I'm going to go through your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your services, your programming. And then you also leave with a little mini list of grants, but you will leave with perfect clarity. You will know exactly what you need to do and where you need to go. It's a private VIP session. It's $497. You get the session notes and the video. The only time you'll ever see it reduced to $247, you have to buy it with the course. Everybody else pays $497. If you buy it with the course, you can add it on to the course. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All right. And we do something special. We offer buy now, pay later. For the $297, again, I'm trying to help you. 4 months, same as cash. People, that's $75 a month. I don't even know of a $75 grant. As soon as you get a grant, you will pay for all of this. This is what you do if you want the buy now, pay later. 4 months, same as cash. When you get to the payment area, I don't know why they bury it, but they do. Hit pay another way. Then hit new payment method. You will see Affirm. Hit the drop down. You will see Afterpay. You will see Klarna. Those are all buy now, pay later options. 4 months, same as cash. $75 a month. If you don't want to do that, you just want to pay $297. We do take a credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, Cash App Pay. All right. Now, I also mentioned that we do have our own little payment plan. If you want to just pay over 2 months, you can hit 2 times 275 because remember, you've got what? A coupon. Have a coupon, put in your SEPT11 with the little T is going to take off $100 a month. So now you're only paying $175 a month for 2 months. All right. And then if you want to add on the private coaching, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All right. So that's the option, $297. Then if you want to, you can stretch those payments out, or the 2-month payment plan of $175 a month. All right, let me stop sharing. I'm going to get to the Q&A, but before anybody goes anywhere, there's one more thing I want you to do for you, not for me. This is for you. All right. You got 3 days, by the way, to use the coupon. I want you all, because I always say it starts up here, and some of you have been procrastinating. So you've got to do this for you. All of you, place into the webinar chat right now. I am ready to get grant money. Do this for you. Don't do this for me. I need for you to write out, get it from up here through those fingers and into this keyboard. I am ready to get grant money. I believe in manifestation. Get this out of your system into the universe. I am ready to get grant money. Deirdre, Celeste, Randall, Rui, Marge, Patrick. Like literally speak this out. Get this out of your system. Put this out into the universe. I'm ready to get grant money, right? Because you see there's $200 billion that's being given away this year. Like, why not place yourself in a position to get it? All right, Yolanda, Tararis, Annie, Jermila, Patrick, right? Yes. And I see, Yolanda, I think you're the one with the church. You know that Walmart gives to churches? They do. They do. That's right, Jermila. Amen. To be claimed. Yes. Now, I'm going to go into the Q&A. What are some grants for box truck companies? You have to do the research and find out what they are. So what are you doing with the box truck companies? What do you mean when you say a box truck? Is that a delivery service? You have a box truck where you create deliveries? You're in the transportation industry? Let me give you all a clue. When you search for grants, don't forget your industry. So, for example, the Shea Moisture grant is for people who want to open up a hair care salon. It's the same industry. They make shampoo and conditioners. If you are in the transportation industry, seek grants from your industry. UPS has a grant, FedEx has a grant. Every major airline has a foundation that provides grant money, right? Don't forget your industry. What are grants for businesses that are founded by Black males? What is the business? What is the business? That's what's going to be important. There are grants geared towards organizations created by Black individuals, period, whether they're female or male. Look for those grants. I literally gave you a little partial list of some of them. But as important as the fact that you're a Black male, what are you doing? What is the business? Because that will also help you to determine where to look. I mentioned earlier, there are all different kinds of categories. What are you doing? Are you in the creative arts? There's grants for creators, right? Are you opening up that online jewelry store? Halstead Bead Company has grants for people opening up jewelry stores, right? How do you make your business attractive to win the grant? Great question. Get those documents in order. Are you creating revenue? Do you have a plan to create revenue? What is making you different? You have to talk about what's making you different. And also your impact. What is your impact on the people that you serve in your business? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I have a client. She's a designer. She's a fashion designer. Yeah, she has her fashion design studio. But guess what? With the extra material that she has left over from her designs, you know what she's doing with that extra material? She's making clothes for women who are victims of domestic violence. What is making you different? That's what is going to make your business attractive. And then talk about the impact that you're having on the people that you serve. Literally, if you go back through this replay, which you're going to have, I've laid it out for you. I've been able to help you. All right. How much should an executive director be paid for a new nonprofit organization? I don't know. That depends on where you're located. Because an ED of a nonprofit in California may start off at $100,000, right? But maybe only $40,000 in Iowa or in Ohio, right? So what you need to do is go to Indeed.com or some other salary, right, or Glassdoor, and find out what is the average salaries of a new nonprofit executive director pay. So just do a little bit of research and find out. And it's going to depend on your area. So I can't give you that number. It depends on your area, right? So you're in Texas, find out in Texas, what is the average pay for an executive director of a new nonprofit? But this is something I want you all to be leery of. I see this a lot with nonprofits. Do not go into this grant seeking world being laser focused on getting money to just pay the executive director first. That's not the way it happens. Don't seek grant money to pay a $100,000 salary to an executive director first and then seek grants for the programming. That's literally backwards. That is not what foundations want to see. It doesn't mean that you can't ask for some money to help pay for the executive director, but does the person need to be full time? Because this is a new nonprofit, right? So does that executive director need to be full time, or can it be a contracted person? Or maybe you're going to commit 10 hours a week to the nonprofit or 20 hours a week to the nonprofit. It's okay to give a little bit of money to the executive director, but you also need to be focused on building up this program. So that's what foundations want to see, that you're asking for grant money, not just to all of a sudden start paying a bunch of salaries, because at the end of the day, they're not there to help fund the salaries of a nonprofit, unless it's a grant specifically for salaries, like what I experienced years ago. And some of them are, but typically they want to see the success of the nonprofit. And so you have to balance where you're asking for the grant money. A little bit to the executive director, a little bit to the program. All right. All right. All right. Let me go over to the webinar chat. Those were all of the questions in the, excuse me, in the Q&A, but I saw quite a few over in the webinar chat. So I'm going over there now. All right. All right. So bear with me. Oh, yeah. So the $297 is one payment. You're one and done. You don't pay anything else. You pay the $297 and you get access to the course, the Facebook group, my group coaching, right? That's one payment forever. You're one and done. Which, by the way, that entire pricing structure will be changing. But as it stands right now, one payment. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going slow here. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Questions. I want to know how, but there's no question there. I was told that you have to have won smaller grants in order to be considered for bigger grants. It helps. It absolutely, absolutely helps. You know why? Because if you have not been able to handle a $5,000 grant, spend it accordingly, spend it in the exact way in which you indicated that you were going to spend it on the grant application, it's going to be rare that someone is going to give you a $1 million grant or a $500,000 grant if you've not been able to handle a $5,000 grant. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of trust from these foundations that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So yes, you have a much greater chance of winning a larger grant if you've been able to handle a smaller grant. But if you're going after those big grants, you need to collaborate. That's the best avenue. So maybe you get with an organization that has won a larger grant before. So if you know that there's $1 million grant out there that you and maybe some other organizations can work on and can handle and can fulfill, maybe you get with organizations that have won larger grants and be a part of that group that applies to the bigger grant. That's what I would advise. All right. All right. Let's see. How do I get a startup grant how do I get a startup grant to bigger grants ASAP? So the grant world is not ASAP. This is not the ASAP industry. The grant industry is not the ASAP industry. So it takes an average of 3 months for you to get grant money once you apply. Sometimes it's a lower amount of time, Let's say you apply for the grant closer to the deadline. So then it might not take 3 months. Now, there are times when you can go to a community foundation. If you've been in business for a while and you're having different financial difficulties, you're trying to keep the lights on or some type of, emergency, there are times where you can go to a community foundation and ask for discretionary grant money. Usually it's lower grant money. $5,000, $10,000. And that program director oftentimes has the ability to write and approve discretionary grants without taking the grant application through the typical normal chain, which usually means those grants are being decided by the board of directors, right? But according to the amount of the grant, if it's a smaller amount, oftentimes they have the ability to approve that grant, and that can be done much faster. I mean, we're talking about, maybe a month. All right. Okay. Let's see. How do I get grants for my business and LLC? So I've talked about that. What are the grant repositories for different groups? Veterans with disabilities and health needs, first responders with disabilities and health needs. Went through that, talked about that. When you go to those grant portals, whether it's Grant Station or Grant Watch, there are literally categories. So if your program serves veterans with disabilities, choose veterans as your target population, and those grants will pop up, right? When you go to those portals, if you know your target population, put it in there, right? If you serve people who are first responders, who have disabilities, use first responders as your target population, and those grants will pop up. So when you are doing your research, when you go into those portals, go to the target population, but also it's more than this, because what are you doing? What is your program doing? How is your program helping veterans with disabilities? Because many of you should be applying to multiple categories. Let me just use this person as an example. So let's say he has a program that helps veterans with disabilities and health needs. We know that's his target population. There's probably 4 or 5 different categories where you, Randall, should be looking for grants. One is for organizations that provide grants to companies that serve veterans with disabilities. That's one. What is the disability, right? Let's say the disability is blindness. That's category number 2, because now you can be searching for grants from organizations that serve, right? Nonprofits or small businesses that help people who are blind. That's number 2, right? You're a person of color. That's number 3. Search for grants that are geared towards organizations that are led by people of color, right? That's 3, right? Now, what are you providing? What is your service? You didn't talk about how you help them. Let's say you provide housing for them. Now you should be looking for grants that are geared towards affordable housing or transitional housing for veterans with disabilities. That's category number 4. So those are 4 different categories where you should be searching for grants. And this pertains to all of you, by the way. There shouldn't be just one category. That's why you have to really talk about what you do. The more specific you are and the more you can explain what you do, the easier it will be for you to find grant funding. All right. Do you have to start the course right away? Once purchased? Absolutely not. It is self-paced. I don't put that kind of pressure on you. Oh no, it is self-paced. You start when you want to start. The help will be there. The Facebook group will be there. And just so you know, don't think that you have to immediately have an organization set. You could be in the midst of getting your 501c3 or in the midst of getting your LLC or your articles, right? And you can buy the course and just start doing the research so that when you're ready, when you have your 501c3 or when you have your LLC, you're ready to go. So no, there's no expiration date on the course whatsoever. I literally make this easy for you. All right. All right. Are there specific ways to search for corporate grants? Absolutely. Absolutely. So on those search portals, you can determine, you can click corporate. So let's say you only want to seek grants from corporations. You can choose that as a category, right? Now, you can choose it, but I would highly recommend you also choose the other categories because you want to know what grants are out there across the spectrum. But yes, when you are searching, you can identify where you want the grant to come from. So you can identify local community foundations, you can identify federal grants, you can identify corporate grants. So you, as a part of your searching, when you use that portal, whatever it is, Grant Watch, Grant Station, yes, you can identify where you want the grant money to come from. All right, let's see if there are other grants. How do I tweak the language for rental cars? Well, I don't know if you need to. The rental cars aren't necessarily for Black organizations, right? Or for women. You may not need to tweak your language at all. If you have a rental car business, right? You have a small business. That's business and industry. That's also transportation, right? If I were you, I would look to the rental car agencies, the automobile industry, find out whether or not they have grants, right? Okay, let me keep going down. I need funds to treat veterans and first responders. You have a information here that will help you. Everybody will get the replay. Go back to the replay. If you buy the course, you will get specific help. So for everybody buying the course, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be your link to the Facebook group. Come into the Facebook group with your questions. You will get help. And what I'm going to do for you now is special. If you buy the course and you come into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you for a synopsis of your organization. That means I need for you to give me like 3 or 4 sentences to describe what you do. Give me your location. Give me whether or not you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. And I am going to give you some links to grants based on your organization. I will do that for you when you get into the Facebook group. That's not a regular part of the course, but I want you to get off to a good start. All right. All right. Somebody said they need 500,000. That's fine. Split it up. Split it up. You should be applying to multiple grants, multiple foundations. All right. Let's just see. When doing an operating budget and you work from home, does that include expenses of that stuff too? Absolutely. It doesn't matter that you work from home. You still have expenses. That doesn't matter at all. You still have expenses. What is it that you're paying out of your pocket for your organization? So when you're creating your operating budget, you need to determine how much money you need to operate your organization, right? And that if you have you're saying you work from home, maybe do you have a dedicated home office? Because that will help. So let's say you have a dedicated room for your home office, right? You can still include things like utilities. You need the lights on in that office, right? Because think about it, even on your tax return, you get to deduct the expenses from your home office, including what would equate to the percentage of your rent or the percentage of your mortgage that's dedicated to that home office, right? So you have to ask yourself, what are the expenses that I need that's going to allow me to operate for a year? And it absolutely doesn't matter that you're working from home. Many organizations do. They get grant money. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Excellent question. Should we be paying to apply for grants? I know of one organization where there is an application fee, and that's Amber Grants for Women, and it's only $15. And you get to apply for all of their grants for $15. 99.9% of the time, there is no fee to apply for grants. I'm going to say that again. 99.9% of the time, there should be no application fee to apply for grants. Be very careful, people, because I know of organizations that are charging you per grant. Like per grant that they will help to process for you, they charge you a fee, but that fee is going to them. That fee has nothing to do with the foundation of the organization. That's their fee that they're charging you because they're going to help you apply for that grant. When you apply to the direct source, 99.9% of the time, there's no fee. All right. Can a church be considered a community partnership? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Other questions? I'm scrolling down. Do you know any? Yes, there are worship grants. Specific grants for event space venues. It depends on what you're using it for. What are you using it for? Are you using it for musical, theatrical production, community plays? That's creative. That's in the creative space. I gave you a link to grants that are being used for creators. So if you're, again, people, it be specific. The more specific you are, the easier it will be for you to find grant money. So that event space could be used for anything. I don't know what the event space is being used for. Are you using it as a place where senior citizens can meet in the community? Now you can apply for a grant that's geared towards organizations that serve senior citizens. You have to really think out what you are going to be doing, how you're going to be using your organization and your service, and who you're serving. All right. The worship grant must be funded by the Holy Spirit. The, the worship grant is funded by the Lilly Endowment. So they have a worship grant that is, so the worship grant is being offered by the Calvin Institute, but the money was given to the Calvin Institute by the Lilly Endowment. So remember, I said the Lilly Endowment is the largest organization that funds other religious organizations in terms of grants, right? So they have the grant for the Black church, and then they have the grant that's a worship grant that can be for any church, but it's funded by the Lilly Endowment. So they literally provide, I mean, it's what I know they've provided hundreds of millions of dollars strictly to faith-based organizations. But again, even Walmart, even the Walmart grant has provided money for churches, right? The foundation for the ideas was I'm going to put in here, the Amber grant for women. They have a startup grant for ideas. And their link is in the replay. When you get the replay, you'll see the link in there. All right. So you have 3 days to get the discount. So it's less than $300. People, if you want the help, we're here to give you the help that you need so that you can actually start winning grants. All right. You get the course, you get the Facebook group, and you get the group coaching, right? It's one price. You have to be able to invest a little bit in your organization and yourself in order to get where you need to go, right? You've got to be able to invest just a little bit. You've got 3 days until Sunday to get the discount. People are happy to pay the $497. Excuse me, the discount will allow you to pay $297. I'm going to wrap it up. Let me see if there are any other questions. Are there grants to help me get my postmaster's mental health nurse practitioner? You'll have to do the research to find that out. I do know that there are some individual grants available, and those individual grants are typically for those that are pursuing doctorates to do research. So most of the individual grants I've seen are solely geared towards people who are doing research on their doctorate. I have seen some individual grants that are geared towards authors to help them finish their book in order to do research. A lot of those grants are provided by publishing houses, right? But a grant basically is not for individual use, it's for your organization, your nonprofit, or your small business. All right. I'm going to answer a few of the last ones and then we'll wrap it up. Can I use my experience of managing large grants for a nonprofit that I work for now, but it's not my business? I'm not sure what you're asking. Can I use my experience of managing large grants for a nonprofit that I work for now, but it's not I rephrase that. I'm not sure what you're asking. I rent property and I need money to purchase and renovate more properties. What grants are there to help me? You'll have to do the research. When you buy the course, we will absolutely help you to determine that. If you can't find it when you're using the course, that's what the Facebook group is for. Come in, ask us, we will help you. But I can tell you that there are grants strictly for renovations. Strictly for renovations, there are grants. So again, that's your area of interest is renovation. So that's what you're going to be looking for. And also your rental property, what are you using it for? Is it affordable housing? That's a completely different category of grants. Excuse me. That's a completely different category of grants is affordable housing, if that's what your rental properties are for. But this is the kind of help that you get when you are in a community that can help you. Food and beverage company, look for food and beverage grants. There were some in Hello Alice. I have a child care resource and referral agency, also transportation and needs, police to transport children, child care resource. The Amber Grants for me, they have a child care grant right now. They have a child care grant right now in Amber Grants for Men. And I work with quite a few child care agencies. There are quite a few child care agencies in the course, quite a few in the course. And this is why collaboration is so important because once you get into the Facebook group, you can literally say, are there any other childcare organizations that maybe, we can connect and try to apply for grants together or try to do research together? That's what the Facebook group is for. It's about collaboration, right? I don't know if you know Brandy Woods. I also know Brandy Woods. She has a multi-million dollar childcare agency. She actually helps other organizations to develop their child care centers. But there's a grant right now in Amber Grants for Women that is geared towards child care agencies. So I would absolutely recommend that you apply for that grant. But if you want to know how to do that, come into the course, we'll help you. All right, so let me just make sure I've gotten the last few questions. Let's see. And then we will wrap it up. All right. So I hope this was helpful. I hope to see you in the course. I hope you invest in yourself just a little bit because the return, I think, is going to be very, very good for you just to get the help, right? Because this is why organizations stop. This is why they give up. They get frustrated about getting grants because they're wasting time because time is money. They're applying for the wrong grants. They're applying for grants that they should never have even completed the application, right? This is where you waste time. This is why people get frustrated and give up, right? All right, let's see. To get the one-on-one with you with the class, can that payment be made in two payments? No. That's a one payment of 247. Let's see. We will have access to this webinar so we can come back to pay. Yes, absolutely. For the next 3 days. Thank you for reminding me. Melissa, please put my email address into the webinar chat. Everybody, please put this email, copy this email and put this email into your email contact list because you're going to get emails for the next 3 days with your replay so that you can get your replay. And also you will be able to get the link to buy the course and the code to buy the course because you've got 3 days to get, you have until Sunday. So you're going to get emails, but please put my email list on in your email contact database so that the emails are not going to spam because I want you to be able to get your replay. All right. Let's see. What is the actual industry for esoteric services like yoga, meditation, and healing, health and wellness? Health has been too general in any searches I've done. You haven't searched in the right engines. if you search in the right engines, it can be so specific. Like, remember, I talked about Grant Station? When you click health and wellness in Grant Station, and also if you go to the foundation directory online, they drill down in health and wellness. They drill down significantly. They have alternative healing methods, they have meditation. So it depends. I don't think you've been using the right tool to look. But if you use Grant Station or the foundation directory online, they will drill down into your category. But again, if you buy the course and you come into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you to give me a couple of sentences about your organization. I'm going to give you links as to where you can search for grants based on your specific organization. Like I'm doing that as an extra. That's not even part of the course, but I want you to get off to a good start. All right. Food and beverage company. I mentioned that before. There are definitely food and beverage grants. Let's see. Affordable housing is one of the largest areas for grants. I know that because I've done work for Habitat for Humanity. Oh, regarding showing you have experience managing larger grants, can I use my work experience even though I haven't started my business? Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you talk about the history of your business, right? When you get to that history section, you're going to really focus on the fact that, look, I have worked for ABC nonprofit. I handled $1 million grant with ABC Foundation. We spent the money in accordance to how we indicated we would on the grant application. Yes, because that's going to let them know that you are accustomed to handling large dollar grants. Absolutely. You want to talk about that experience for sure. All right. All right. I believe we are done. Let me just make sure. Starting a food service business from scratch with an LLC depends on what the food service is, right? Drill down into it. And why are you starting it? That's going to be one of the main questions. Why are you starting a food service company from scratch? Is because maybe the food that you're providing is free of allergens? Like, what's making you different? That's questions for all of you. Think about that. All right. I believe we are done. Let me just make sure I got through all of the questions, and I welcome you to come into this community where organizations that look like you, they're winning grants. But before we do anything, we have to give Jacqueline some love because Jacqueline was like, I am tired of trying to do this on my own, right? I'm tired of wasting time, wasting money, not knowing where to go, how to pursue the grants. Jacqueline bought the course. Jacqueline decided, you know what? I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to spend this money and invest in myself. I need to see some love for Jacqueline. I need to see some clapping of hands. I need to see some hearts for Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I will see you in the Facebook group. I'm going to ask you that question. I'm going to help you. You give me that synopsis about your organization. I'm going to help you out immediately, give you some links that's going to be helpful for you. Because my course is for people who are serious about getting grant money. That I need to state. All right. It's for organizations that really are serious about getting this grant money. All right. I will see you in the Facebook group. All right. Now, let me just make sure. That's right. Go, Jacqueline. You've got to invest just a little bit. You've got to invest in this organization because a lot of you are hesitant to spend less than $300, but you've spent thousands of dollars in wasted hours, thousands of dollars in wasted hours, not applying to the right organizations, or just not even knowing where to go, or just doing research for hours and hours and hours when it shouldn't even take that long when you know how to do it. It shouldn't be hours. It will not be hours. All right. All right. Let me just make sure I have covered all of the questions over in the webinar chat, and then we will wrap it up. All right. All right. I believe I've gotten to everyone. And, don't disregard the banks. The banks have significant endowments for grants. You'll definitely have access to everything when you get the link. the link to buy your replay, definitely, for the next 3 days. So make sure you open up the email because your replay will be in there. All right, let's see. Yes, definitely. You'll have access to the replay. All right, let me just make sure that I've covered everything here regarding. Yes, you're going to get an email on how to sign up when we're done. So just look out for your emails over the course of the next 3 days, right? But it would be helpful if you place my email into your email contact list because I just don't want it going to your spam. There's been a lot of problems with emails going into spam, not just me. This is an industry problem right now. So hello@grantwritingfornonwriters.com is my email. Just add it to your email contact list. Do I buy the course to get into the Facebook group? Yes. You have to be a student to get into the Facebook group. Absolutely. All right. All right. I believe we're done. I want to thank you all for hopping on because I said before, I know you could have been somewhere else, but you came on here. That's why you're getting this course for less than $300, where you see people are winning significant grants because now they know what to do and they made that little investment and they are reaping the benefits. So over the course of the next 3 days, I hope to see you in the Facebook group and the course so that you can start getting the help that you need so that you're not spinning your wheels anymore. Because what you are wanting to do is helpful. People need it. People need you, whether it's your nonprofit or your for-profit. What you are wanting to do is needed, right? It is needed. So get it going, people. Move forward. Like we don't have time anymore for procrastination. This money is available and it's available now. All right. So I want to thank you so much for hopping on. Whatever you do, move forward and don't be discouraged by the things you see on TV. Move forward. Be focused. Move forward and be encouraged, right? So I want to thank you so much again. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and creator of Lapel Consulting. And I want you to have a blessed and a safe, oh my goodness, a safe rest of your week and weekend. And just keep moving forward. Don't let this be another webinar that you attended and you don't do anything with the information. Keep moving forward. All right. That's right, Jamila. No matter what is going on, right? Many of you, I know that you're destined to be doing what you're doing. You can't stop. You can't stop. All right. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day, blessed rest of your week, blessed weekend, and hopefully I will see you all very soon in the course in the Facebook group. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you have a wonderful, peaceful night. Bye-bye.